Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ESC Fan TV. It's been a while, but we're back for another super episode to talk all things Eurovision 2021. And I'm so excited I forgot to put my teeth in. So yes, we are here to talk about all things national final. Now Junior Eurovision is done and dusted, and a big well done to France and Valentina for her victory. We're going to look forward to Rotterdam in May, and it's definitely happening. So yay, this won't all be in vain this time. But next to me on my left, we have Nicklas from Denmark. Have you stopped singing J'imagine yet? Has that left your brain yet?
It's not going to, and it's never going to. But hello everyone. I've crawled out of my little bunker that I've just been relaxing in ever since Junior Eurovision, just to do this show. It's gonna be fun.
And we did have a little conversation where we said we wanted to go to Poland this year, Nicklas and I, and be press again, but it was probably a good thing we couldn't, because we would be an absolute nervous wreck waiting for the televote result, because we both loved the French entry. So
yes,
who knows what could have been.
And if we had food poisoning on top of that, it would have been even better. So
speak for yourself. And to his right from Sweden, we have Gustaf.
Hi guys.
Now, obviously, at the time of recording, we're in the thick of it of the Melfest announcements, and they would have been announced. How excited are you so far about the names that have come out of SVT?
Funnily enough, I'm the most excited about the song that Anna Bergendahl wrote. She's not even competing herself, but she wrote it, so I'm going to love it.
You shock me, Gustaf. You really do.
Who could have guessed? Who could have guessed?
I know. Directly below me, we have Joe. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Hello, it's me again. Yes, you're all fed up of seeing me. I know, I'm back.
Never, but
I'm
also...
all right, my lovely. It's great to be back on Soup as well. Yay! We're back.
It's just good to do one, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to have you back. We're talking about your favourite country, Norway, tonight, so we couldn't do it without you.
Yay! I better get my flag, hadn't I? Yay!
And the eagle eye viewers will notice there's someone new with us tonight. This is Alice. Hello, Alice.
Hiya, how you doing?
And would you just like to give like a little introduction to yourself and to the ESC Fan TV little bubble that we call home, this little madhouse?
So hi, I'm Alice. I'm a UK Eurovision fan. Some people may recognise me from the BBC's Eurovision coverage from 2019. I was one of the 4 fans that they surprised with Måns Zelmerlöw. And that was one of the best highlights of my life so far. So that's me.
So we're talking about Eurovision 2021 this year, and there's a lot of news coming out regarding national finals and whatnot now. Yay for us. But something I want to talk about first and foremost is how much of a difference is this season going to have with some acts not having an audience? I mean, obviously, Melodi Festival has said there will be no audience or reduced. Norway is still working towards having an audience, but it will be in a studio and there might be no audience. So we want to see how that could affect the running of the show, the format, everything about it. Nicklas, you were the first nation heavily hit by this, with Dance Melodi Grand Prix having no audience the day before your national final. So what is your take on it, and how do you think it affected Dance Melodi Grand Prix in 2020?
Yes, the war flashbacks are coming back. Love it. It was a very special experience, I think, for many to see a completely empty Royal Arena during Dance Melodi Grand Prix this year. It was gonna be this big, it was a celebration of Dance Melodi Grand Prix and an anniversary kind of show, and it was gonna be in this newly built large arena, and then it just all kind of crumbled before us. It's gonna be a different year next year. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I hope that we'll see some countries to be able to have an audience. I know here in Denmark right now, an audience of up to 500 people is still allowed as long as there is, space between everyone and everything. Hopefully that'll still be in place when it comes to Dance Melodi Grand Prix, because it would be a shame for it to once again not have an audience. I think the audience is it makes such a huge impact on how one performs. I think we saw that in Junior Eurovision, where even just that small audience around, I think there must have been around the max there's been is maybe 50 people or something like that inside the TV studio where they did the live broadcast of the Junior Eurovision. Even just having that little audience just made it feel more full, and it made it seem like, there was actual energy in the room, and it gives so much also to the singers. So I hope that even if it's just a small audience, I really do hope that some countries will be able to have, even if it's just 100 people, I think it'll still make a massive difference.
Okay. And Joe, you were at Trondheim last year for Melodi Grand Prix for the final. So just looking at it from Norway's perspective, obviously they're not sure they can have an audience or not. They're trying to see what they can do, but they're staying in that one studio in Oslo where the semi-finals were. How much do you think that's going to have an impact on the atmosphere and everything? Because obviously you experienced that firsthand in Trondheim.
Yeah, I mean that atmosphere, that arena was absolutely electric, and I can't even describe it because of not just because the stage was really big, and I mean I'm assuming the one in Oslo would have been just as big, but this, Trondheim, it was huge, and it wasn't just that, it was the fact that it was absolutely packed to the rafters, and the artists came out, and where the artists were in the green room, it was at the back, and they had to go through some of the audience to get to it. So not having that, I think it'll make more of a detriment to the artists themselves, because being in the studio and effectively filming what's going to be a TV show is going to be fine, but in the final, not having anyone to feed back on, and I consider them being quite flat. So I just hope that they think to themselves, we've got that audience out there, we need to play to that audience. But I think it's going to be a bit of a step up for them. So they're going to have a different mindset, that's for sure.
And Gustaf, obviously Melody Festivalen is staying in Stockholm. This is the first time, as long as I can remember, they're not doing the tour, as they call it. They are using a studio where Idol is filmed, I believe they said, and the annex to Globen, which I do believe where the press centre and the backstage was of Eurovision 2016. And again, how is this going to impact SVT, Sweden, seeing the programme? Because it's going to be very different. There's going to be no balloons for a start.
Well, they have made it work with Idol this season, and actually made it work really good without an audience. So I have no doubt that they will make it work. It's obviously going to be smaller than ever, but I don't think that might not be a bad thing, because what was I saying? Sorry, I totally dropped it. Yes. Okay, let's get back on track. I don't think that for the viewer that's watching it on the TV, I don't think that you will notice it that much, actually, because I think that they have worked this all the way through. It seems like that they are they don't tell us much about what's going to happen, so I think they have some plans.
I'm just worried there's going to be so much AR going on, it's going to look ridiculous. There's a lot of AR going on in our Strictly at the minute in the UK, and let's just say it doesn't look the most high-end budget-wise sometimes.
Well, it's SVT, it's going to be different. They have
the
budget for it. They want to have the budget for it.
Exactly.
That's true. And it's Krista Bjorkman's last year, so obviously they're going to do something special, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Alice, obviously there's scenarios where this could be the norm for Eurovision, but there could be a chance where people are going to win a national final to no audience and then have to sing to a full arena. How interesting do you think that could be, and how could that impact some artists? Because obviously you could use a national final as a stepping stone or a warm-up to the big event.
A lot of artists have been doing things like live streaming or performances and stuff. So I think that people are kind of getting used to the performing without an audience, where previously they performed with one. So I don't think there'll be much of an impact performance-wise. Obviously, not having an audience there, you don't get sort of that automatic feedback on how well your song is doing with people as you're performing it. But I think that it'll add to the experience, trying to show them that they just them on the stage rather than, things like that. But then when they go to the contest, they'll have hopefully the full experience and audience, and everyone will be there with them.
Yeah, I mean, it will have an impact, because obviously, this is the arts, and the arts thrive off an audience. They thrive off the energy of an audience from me dancing myself, I can attest to that. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how each nation adapts to this scenario. I think Denmark last year did do very well, apart from the very cavernous wide shots they obviously couldn't change at the last minute, and it just still looked a bit apocalyptic. But obviously, you know, TV studios have had so long and so many references now to look at things to, you know, fix that, make it closer. Like we saw with Junior, I think Nicklas and I were saying, like, there were no wide shots, so he actually said connected to the song a lot more because the artist was front and centre the entire time. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm very intrigued to see how it all works out, and, you know, I hope it doesn't have too much of an impact because, you know, at the end of the day, and this might sound a bit harsh, the bulk of the people you need to impress are the ones at home down the TV camera. So that's where it's got to come across, I guess, eventually or effectively. I don't know. I'm not in TV production. I don't have to make these decisions. I just sit and watch it and criticise.
I think no audience will just make it a bit more personal, I guess. And like you said, it would appeal to the people at home more because everyone's going to be at home watching it, possibly. Yeah. If no one can go to Rotterdam, you know, or any of the national finals.
I just don't know if I want, like, the empty vapid clapping or the really over-the-top fake clapping that Vienna had, because neither was great.
I hate the fake clapping. It's the worst. It's so fake. You see like a wide shot with no people, and then you just hear a bunch of cheering, and it's like, I know this is fake. Don't do it. If you're gonna do fake clapping, don't do wide shots. Never show the back of the arena if you're gonna do that.
I mean, you could go like the route of the like video walls that people at a lot of shows have been having of like fans at home watching. So that's a route that they could go down if they can't have an audience.
That is true. I've seen a lot of that. I was actually going to ask Gustaf, is that what they've done for Idol, or what have they done? Because you mentioned they've done it quite well. Like, is there any special things they've done to make it not seem so obvious that there's no audience there?
Yeah, they have that wall of people at home.
Okay.
And it looks really great, actually, because it's just on one side. So if you film it in the right way, it will show off great. And they almost never show like the back of the arena either. And actually, the fake clapping is working for Idol. But they took some Danish guy to do that for them, so I don't know. But it's actually working. I'm not at all sure about the Danish guy because Danish, but you know.
You're making it sound like that it's working because there usually isn't a lot of clapping in Idol.
Yeah, maybe not.
I love how much that hurt Gustaf giving credit to someone from Denmark then. I mean, yeah, the wall of people, it is impressive, but also for me it freaks me out. It's a bit Black Mirror, but this entire year's just been a giant episode of Black Mirror, it feels like, so I'm kind of used to it ish. As long as there's a program that can go ahead, it can run smoothly, and I think, like I said, Junior Eurovision was the perfect example of that, and they did that so well and so spot on, and I was very impressed and surprised how well that went. I think, you know, it's very positive for everyone, you know, on their main broadcasting channels, because obviously some didn't use their main broadcasting channels to really drive this home and make a good show out of it. Hopefully. But yes, you know, let us know what you think. Without an audience, with an audience, how will it affect them, and how will it impact your viewing and enjoyment of the programme? You know, make sure to like this video, comment with your ideas and your thoughts. We love reading them, we love the interaction, so please make sure you do. But we're going to move on now to Norway, and they've announced what they are doing for Melodi Grand Prix, and the bulk of it is kept the same, but they've tweaked it slightly. So they are returning to their 6-week national final format, much to Gustaf's joy that they've taken the 6 weeks again. But they have changed slightly in the sense that 6 instead of 5 will go straight to the final this time. There will be a winner from each semi-final as per usual, but out of all the eliminated songs in the 5 semi-finals, 1 will be picked from the public to join them and make a final of 12. Also, the semi-finals are not being done by region this year. From last year it was North, South, West, East and Central Norway, I believe. This year it's just 25 put into 5 semi-finals of 4. Maths. So, Joe, our Norway lover, you did the Norway shows last year along with Nicklas. How happy are you that they're keeping this format and the tweaks they've put into it slightly?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I have to say, the only sort of downside for me is the fact that I still think they could have given Ulrika a chance to represent again. And there was a little bit of me that thought, but to be fair, I love MGP, and the fact that they're doing all these semi-finals again, it was fabulous last year. It was the best ever. So the fact that it's coming back is fantastic. And the fact that there's 6 as well, that there's actually 6 going through rather than 5. So it gives some of the more well-known names, I guess, or some of the really good songs a chance to go through. And of course, we've got this wild card. So, we can say, yes, if there was one entry that we think it should have got through and hasn't, and just because they had to, it was a very strong semi, then, we've got that chance as well, or not us personally, but the Norwegians have got a chance to vote, or maybe we have, I don't know, maybe we can vote as well.
No, none of us, said we were in Norway and impacted the results of the final, the semi-final at all, did we? None of us voted outside of Norway at all. That's a lie.
What I mean.
I voted several times for Ulrike last year. I don't care.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the final, as much as I'd have wanted to, I was sitting there thinking, my vote's not going through, and the woman next to me was translating the fact that I didn't know which area to pick, because when you actually go through and you're in Norway itself, you have to pick an area of where you come from. So I didn't know, so she told me which one, and then of course the voting didn't work, did it? So there you go.
No, we overloaded the system.
I don't know whether we'll be allowed to choose I'm hoping we can choose the wild card, and they take those votes from outside, but it's not quite clear yet. This is a TV program or something the next day, so I don't know. It'd be nice if we could.
Yeah, initial reports are saying it's the Sunday after the final semi-final that the wild card will be picked, so it's a very short voting window, if anything. I think 24 hours max, it sounds like. Nicklas, obviously you covered the Norway shows as well. They've dropped the regions semi-finals, so how do you think this will impact the amount of songs we get, the artists we get? Like, are you expecting much of a change then? Because the regions, so for example, Northern Norway, and he said Northern Ireland then, Northern Norway is obviously very heavily influenced by Sami culture, and we saw that with Ellen and the Woods. Now it's just a free-for-all. Do we think we'll see a change in it?
Yeah, I wish they would have explored this thing even more, because I felt like it wasn't nearly as explored last year as it could be. And when they said that the semifinals were coming back, I was like, that's really exciting, because I think this is a perfect chance to... What I really love about it is that it shows off music that isn't just from Oslo, that there are these artists all over Norway, and they all have like individual styles, and they all have these things and individual dialects, and I think that really meant so much and really made the semifinals make sense. I think it's such a shame that they've dropped it, because it means that we're gonna see more of these like, at least what I can imagine is that we're gonna see more of these artists that we've seen many times before, where I think the way that it was kind of separated last year with these semifinals being in these regions was that they were forced to actually pick singers from every single region in Norway. And it's something that it's always a very, very strong like thing for me, even in like such a small country as Denmark. I think it's always important to have every single part of the country represented in this kind of music contest. It shouldn't always be singers from Copenhagen and then one or two other towns we may have heard of. So yeah, I think it's a massive shame, and I think it's really gonna hurt them. But at the same time, I feel like it wasn't as explored last year as it could be. I feel like there were a lot of songs where it felt like it was just, because then you have songwriters obviously not coming from the regions, and then it's just like, I wish they would have explored it more, because I really like the concept of it.
I'm just going to say, you do realise there's about 4 or 5 songs from Swedish songwriters in there last year, right?
Yeah, I know, and that's what
I know Borislav Milanov, your favourite person, wasn't in MGP, but there was definitely a few Swedish names in that.
Oh yeah, there definitely was, and I think, and to some extent it doesn't matter, because I think one of the important things, like I said, was that we get to hear these different dialects and we get to hear these different sounds. But yeah, that was never what it was about. I think it was more of a marketing thing than it was an actual, let's try to represent every part of Norway. So I kind of get why they scrapped it this year.
Awesome. So Alice, obviously they're introducing the wildcard round, where any of the 20 eliminated songs have a chance, no matter how good, how bad, how serious, how camp. If you didn't make the final, now's your chance. coming from the UK and knowing our voting record and what we pick in history throughout the years, Eurovision and otherwise, how smart an idea is this for Norway?
I've never been to Norway myself, but I think they're probably wiser and smarter than what the British public would be if we get given the chance to pick an entry to go wild card. So I hope they would pick something that, I mean, they might pick something that's absolutely crazy if there is anything like that in the competition, but I think they'll pick something that is maybe a current song at the time, like something that a lot of people are listening to. And maybe, like, if it's by a popular artist from Norway, I think they would pick something like that.
Cool. And if you had the power and you saw the 11 artists already through, and you saw the 20, what would you go for? Would you go for something that's a big name, or the strongest song, or something just add a bit more diversity to the final? Like, do you have any, like, criteria you would look for putting a song through?
Honestly, I would probably go for something that's more diverse, especially, like, when you said that the North has a lot of Sami-influenced songs. Oh, if there isn't too much like that, I would put something like that if it was a wildcard option, just to add variety, I guess, so that everything's not the same.
Okay. And Gustaf, obviously, Norway again are going with these pre-qualified finalists. They did it with last year. Denmark did as well. Obviously, Sweden don't do this, and we've seen before that their biggest names then get eliminated, maybe earlier than they should have. So, do you like the fact that they're, I guess for lack of a better word, bigger names like Ulrike got a direct pass to the final, or should everyone earn their spot to the final?
Yeah, I don't like it. Where's the democracy in that?
He's got a point. And the thing is, it's interesting, right? Because in Norway, we saw that it was one of the ones that the broadcaster picked as like, yeah, this is the one that can win, that actually ended up winning. And then you look at Denmark, where the 3 finalists came from the semifinal round, which was kind of, I guess you could say they were kind of like the lesser known acts and the ones that maybe DR didn't think was going to do as well. So I think it's hit or miss, and it doesn't matter. Like, these aren't necessarily better. So I get what Gustaf's saying.
Obviously, it doesn't matter because you chose yes.
Exactly.
But again, I'm not shocked that Yes won, because Ben and Tan were from X Factor, and the Danish Idol / X Factor contestant always makes the top 3 because they are well known and popular.
But then why weren't they just automatically in the final? Why did they have to go through this extra step if the song, and it was even by like known songwriters and everything, so it's like DR must have not believed as much in this song to put them in that, because the thing is, you could risk the song being eliminated because the audience was smaller in the semi-final radio rounds. So obviously it was a risk for DR putting it there.
Yeah, I see your point. And, I guess even Norway nearly backfired because Ulrike was the only automatic finalist in the final 4. Rayleigh, Lisa and Kristen all had to go through their semi-finals. And, I was quite shocked when it got to, like, the final 4. There's only one song I wasn't thrilled about with winning. But even then, I still kind of learnt to love Lisa's song in not an ironic way, just in this is just fun and stupid, isn't it, sort of way.
That's why you like it. It's very much like you.
Fair, I'll take that. You said I was fun, so that's fine. I don't care. I'll take that. But if we go back to last year, and we'll start with Joe, if we look at last year's semi-finalists who sadly got knocked out, and you could put one into the final for MGP last year, who would you have chosen?
You guys, you have to really ask that, don't you? Oh dear.
This is a formality question.
Goomba, you know it is. Charlotte do, definitely. I think, there's no upset. Was it? I think it was Kristen that beat them, wasn't it? And she was brilliant and she deserved it. Obviously, she got second, but Goomba has to be every time. Right.
Oh dear, Nicklas, who would have you picked if you had the power?
Well, there are a couple ones that I could have picked. I feel like there's one that might be picked by someone else. So I'm not gonna mention that just yet. So instead I'm gonna go with Ellen and the Woods, because I think it was a song that a lot of us expected to go through, and I think it would have just added that little bit of extra diversity in the final that would have been really interesting to see, because I think it was it was a surprising result in the last semi-final, and I liked Lisa's song. I think it was fun, but I think sometimes strong songs are up against each other, and it would just be nice to just give a little extra chance. I get why they're putting in the wild card, and I think that's the one I would have picked.
And Gustaf, I think I know what you're going to say, but humour me.
Do you know? Just because of that, I'm going to choose that Yes song that I don't remember the name of. No, I'm kidding. I like that song. I was championing it, but there's only one song that I can choose, and it's How About Mars. Because that was, after Ulrike, that was the best song in the competition, and it's just not right that it went out so early.
If I can pick them, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Lisa Burland Talking About Us, because I've actually listened to that a lot more than I anticipated since January, and it's actually very good. It's just a shame she tried to do a bit too much dancing with the singing, which affected her voice. Alice,
this is where you put the sign up, Nicklas.
Oh, yeah.
What?
One
the
second,
song?
there we go.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here it is.
What, the song that Swedes wrote, Gustaf? The
Yeah,
Swedish song.
Yeah, don't you know, when Swedish songs end in other national finals, it's because they aren't good enough.
exactly.
I know that joke backfires on myself, but
I
still,
was going to
doesn't
say,
matter.
didn't Linnea Deb write yes? Yes,
Look,
she
I
did.
said it was going to backfire on myself, but I don't care. It was worth the
And
joke.
the UK as well, I'm sure.
Yes, UK.
John
There's always several.
Yeah.
We always take several Swedish songs in our national finals. It's a little bit sad. And as I know you didn't watch MGP, so I'm not going to put you on the spot. But if the previous Norwegian participant had to come back into Melodi Grand Prix next year, who would you like to see compete?
Oh god, I really don't know because I haven't watched a lot of MGP, so I only know like the people that have won. So if I had to pick someone that has won and gone to Eurovision, I'd pick Kaino because I really just liked their song. So I just picked them. They were great.
I like this girl. We have to keep her.
Yes, they'll bring me back.
Sorry, this girl, her name is right there. It's Alice. Jesus, Gustaf.
I'm fine. He said he wants me to come back. It's fine.
And the wheels are falling off this programme. That's it wrong. But no, if I had to pick someone to come back, it'd probably be Alexander Vullman because he's great. I think he's fantastic. And I met him nearly 3 years ago and he's lovely. The biggest child I've ever met because he got excited about Hamleys when I met him in London. He didn't know that place existed. And then I told him about it and I've never seen someone's eyes light up so much in my life.
Aww.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy, he is, isn't he? Really nice.
He's an absolute treasure.
Yeah.
He's brilliant.
Lovely. Yeah, I think if you ask it, if I answer that question, Elliot, I swear I would love the Solitangans back again. Dietrich and Emil, for me.
I'm actually quite shocked you didn't pick Morland there, actually.
Oh yeah, and
That's a good point.
I'm gonna have. I tell you what, let's have the Solitangans and Morland doing like, a trio. That'd be amazing.
Sure.
We've planted the seed. If
I
it
would
ever
want
happens, you
that.
can thank this program.
Yeah. Yeah, you heard it first. Didrik and Emil are going to re-enter next year with a ballad wrote by Morland.
Yes.
No, yeah, but Morland's going to be sort of singing as well, and maybe Ryback sort of playing in the background on the fiddle, that sort of
It's
thing.
the ultimate Norwegian entry.
Boy band, we just
And then
got Norwegian boy
remixed
bands
by-
in our heads.
Remixed by Kaino, yeah. We got the whole package. We
You
got
get-
it.
Just get all loads of previous winners on a song.
And
sorted.
that's how you write a song.
Ah.
Where's the mute button on his mic?
Yes.
Oh, God, right. So, is that everything on Norway? I think we're done there.
Elliot doesn't
Yeah.
know how to pick up from here.
Yeah, we are done.
Like I said, the wheels have come off and now they're on fire. Anyway, Bulgaria, that's where we're going next, because they also have half said what they're doing. We know they're sending Victoria. That was
Yes.
a given. And she, last week, released her song Ugly Cry. Then everyone was saying, is this her entry? They were like, no, it's just a single, blah, blah, blah. The Bulgarian delegation then comes out and says, a day after its release, this song is in contention for Eurovision. And then further announced there are 6 songs going into an internal selection, with Ugly Cry being one of them. And now what I want to ask is it smart, Victoria, releasing all these songs and saying they're for Eurovision so early on? Nicklas, let's come to you on this one first.
Well, first of all, I like that you say that they've sort of announced something, because I feel like that's what Bulgaria does every year. They sort of announce a bunch of things up until like the 2nd of March, and then their song is released. I think this is actually, you know what, I've had a bit of a thing about it, and I think this is actually kind of smart, and I know what they're trying to go for. Basically, what I think they're hoping for is that viral hit. They're hoping that one of these songs is gonna absolutely stand out, and it's gonna absolutely wow the crowd, and they're gonna be like, yep, that's the one. It's a lot similar to what we saw when it came to Monsters with Saralto, where it was like, when that came out, everyone was like, this is the winner, and it got to build up the hype, and then eventually it went on to winning. I'm thinking that it's something like that they're hoping for. They're hoping that one of the songs will stand out from the rest, and it's gonna build up hype within the fandom, and they're gonna think, that's it, that's the winner. Whether or not it's gonna work, I'm not sure, because what the fandom likes is not always what the general public likes, so there might be an issue there. But it's Bulgaria, and I like that they're always taking these chances. They're really putting in the work to try to win, and they're doing something interesting. She's an interesting artist, and I think there's so much potential there to be explored. And I like that they aren't just like focused on one song, but really giving her the chance to shine in like possibly different genres and different songs to see what works best. I don't know if it's a recipe for success, but I can kind of see what they're going for, and I think they may not win Eurovision with it, but they'll be loved within the fandom once more if they pick the song that the fandom ends up liking the most.
Okay. Alice, just picking up on that, we're both on Twitter quite a lot. We know how the Eurovision Twitter fandom can be in their opinions, and they're very much... Okay, let's be blunt. They put their opinion as fact half the time. You know, let's just call a spade a spade. So, is this tactic maybe going to, as Nick said, backfire in Bulgaria if they pick the one that maybe Victoria feels the strongest connection to, but hasn't had the most positive reaction to from the fandom? Or do you think they'll just pick the song that's got the biggest social media reaction, regardless of what Victoria thinks regarding the song?
I think that you really want an artist to use a song that they connect with, because then the performance will be more genuine. So going down the road of releasing all of the songs and then seeing which one fans like the best sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. I mean, like we saw this year with Daddy's song, it just skyrocketed, went really viral. Everyone's like, this was going to win. And yeah. And then you have people on Twitter like, oh, actually, I think this is going to win, or I thought that was going to win. So it's a fine line between fan servicing by going what everyone in the fandom absolutely loves, and then what the artist can perform well and connects with. So it's just, you got to walk that line of, you know, trying to find the right song without it swaying too much either way.
I mean, to be fair, I think if Sweden went on fan service, I think there'd be 6 winners in Melfest last year. So probably Dotter overall.
I mean, we had Dotterdam, we had Rotter Mamas, we had Anna. What was the Anna Bergendahl hashtag?
I don't know, because everyone said, oh, Anna's not going to win because country didn't do well on the juries last year, and then she was amazing. So, meh to all of you. me and Gustaf were right, because we said it was the best song, and then it actually did really well. I'm smug about that song.
For once, Elliot's music taste is right.
I think if I badmouthed Anna Bergendahl on this show, Gustaf would purposely come to England and try and find me to hit me.
He'd get on the first flight post-corona rules.
Track me down somehow. So, Joe, I mean, obviously this isn't the first time broadcasters have done stuff like this. I mean, France in 2016 and 17 said they released several songs in contention into mainstream media and radios, and saw what got the best reaction that way to pick their song. Do you think that would have been smarter if, like, Victoria just released these as an EP and then let that be? Or is it actually staggering them? Like, what's your take on it?
I agree a lot with what Nicklas is saying, in the sense of, I think that they've done it on purpose. There's no way. I mean, even if it's just for the amount of publicity, the amount of views she's getting, keep everyone interested in what she's releasing and her music, and and there's so many reasons why they've done it that way. I think I do think it is really to sort of gauge the reaction and the audience reaction, and also there's always some hype in it, isn't there? If you think about it, there's so many songs, there's so many countries. What say we're all concentrating on Albania and Sweden and Norway over the next few weeks, and this is their way of of saying, oh look, here we are Bulgaria, and keeping us attentive to Bulgaria as well. And if it had been released as one EP or anything like that, it would have been one hit, and then we would have forgotten until the announcement was made. So they are sort of keeping interest that way, and I think that's the reason they've done it. As far as the song goes, though, I'm hoping it's a different one chosen. I have to admit. Not my fave.
Oh dear, not my fave either. So Gustaf, I know you're a fan of Tears Getting Sober, and you're a fan of Victoria, and they said the song is not being announced until March officially, which one's ever going to Eurovision. But if Ugly Cry was selected, how happy would you be?
Not as happy as I was with Tears Getting Sober, that's for sure. It's not a bad song. It's actually quite good, but it's nowhere near. I don't feel anything that I felt for Tears Getting Sober. But that might also be me having really high expectations.
Oh no, I don't think that's a bad thing, having high expectations. I mean, Bulgaria have built themselves on this pedestal the last 5 years. Like, they act like they strive for perfection. They strive for the best, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as we have said before, like, they always try and make a statement of intent with their entry, and I think it's only fair we have these high expectations, especially of Victoria, because she's a young artist with a good voice who threw everything into Tears Getting Sober, even the music video, and now they're doing this. I don't think we're unjust having these high expectations of her or the delegation. Like with Equinox, they had that big plan. Obviously, it's quite well known that they put a lot of money into it, and that's what they had to take care of, because they put a lot of money in, and it didn't pay off how they wanted at all.
And that was the worst song they ever sent in the last 5 years. So that might also have something to do with that.
See, that's the worst part about it, right? It was that they put so much money into something that just tanked, that did so bad. No, not so bad, but bad compared to what they've had the previous 2 years, where it was more indie. So that's the worst part.
Back-to-back 4th and 2nd, and then 16th, was it? Like they fell, and they were a big favourite heading in to Lisbon, and then it didn't click for some reason, and it is, like I said, it is a big shame. And obviously they've come back. Bulgaria never do things by halves, as we've seen even with Junior. They play to win, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but they've just got to make sure that they get it right.
They're not gonna hit it every time they try. I mean, that's the way it is sometimes.
No. I do love how every year everyone just says, just bring Polly Genova back. It's like, she has other things to do. Like, she's a mum now. She's busy.
There's other people.
Yeah, as much as I would love Polly Genova back every year, because she's crazy. She's busy.
And she's still part of the family, let's face it. We still love her.
Yes.
Yeah, it's because she's so active in the family, really, isn't she?
Like I said, she's allowed back, or she's allowed to host when Bulgaria win, only if she does another cover of Where Is My Dress from Junior. That's just for Nicklas there.
Yay. She was great as a host, though. I loved her in Junior Eurovision. I know it's a different conversation, but I loved the way that they used her for that, where it was like, if you do this well, you can go to Eurovision. I like that plan. I wonder if we're ever going to see something like that again.
Hopefully, because it's a good, what's the word? Media. It's good media training at the end of the day, isn't it? It's perfect. But no, definitely. I for the song itself, I wasn't wowed by it. She's definitely gone away from Billie Eilish into more of like a Lorde sort of sense. It felt like was it as impactful as Tears Getting Sober? No, it didn't have that impact. It was very safe for her, I feel like, and it felt like she's also. This is gonna sound really bad, but it kind of felt like she was also treading on Roxanne's toes a little bit. It kind of like again teetered more to what Roxanne did with Alcohol You than what Victoria did. And I know people compared the two songs last year anyway, but this felt more like it. But what do I know? I was
nothing.
Thanks, Gustaf. Love you too. But as for this, I do think it is, getting Victoria back catalogue, the delegation and the media and the sponsorship for the delegation clearly believe in her, that they're putting all this effort in, which is great to see because she is only 21, so it's nice to see a young artist getting such a push. But obviously I am worried if the wrong song gets selected, because obviously they said it's an internal selection, but we don't know how they're doing it. Obviously, with Equinox, they invited fans in to do to be part of the internal selection between these 12 songs that were in it. And again, Polygenova was in that because I picked her voice out straight away. She again was in that selection as a duet. And yeah, I applaud them trying all these different things. Every year they're trying different things, Bulgarian. Some work, some don't. Obviously, Equinox didn't work, but you just had to look at Genealogy in 2015, just realise just picking random people to sing together doesn't work at all. Mm-hmm. And what was that Swiss act? Was it All for One or something where what's his face from Alcazar was in it? And it just
there's an old guy in it as well.
Yeah,
we are given. Yeah, it was. Yeah, given it all. Yeah.
It's just it doesn't work. So at least they're doing that, so that's fine. Another little roundup, just quick little tidbits that happened since Ben Dolic has admitted he hasn't been selected for Germany. Obviously, he re-entered the songwriting process as he did last year and said he was happy to do that. They haven't gone with him. Obviously, Damir from Croatia said he's not re-entering Dora because he doesn't have a song he feels strong enough in. And there was someone else who came out and said they weren't returning either, and I've forgotten.
Finland, Axel.
That was it.
The one who looks like me.
Yes, your twin. Your twin. And
no, you say that.
And
Nicklas for Finland next year, yeah?
Yes. I've just taken his place.
He's I'm
gonna enter UMK, or I'm just gonna co-host it with him. And it's just gonna be very, very weird for everyone.
Which one's the real one?
Yeah, and he did say he was going to submit a song, but then decided not to. And if he had submitted a song, he would have automatically been put into the show. So very sad, but that's how it is. But I do believe that is everything. Unless anyone has any final points on any of our topics,
I was going to say I like when they've invited acts from 2020 back and given them a chance. That's a good thing, and everyone should be doing that.
Mm-hmm. But I think
bad people that don't.
But I think it's also a good thing for the artists that if they don't have a song that they fully believe in, that they've chosen not to take part. Because I mean, we even touched on a little bit here with Victoria, where it's like, for the people who love Tears Getting Sober, there is such a huge pressure here to really follow up that single, and I think so many of these artists coming back are gonna have such a huge pressure on them. Just because, they want to do as well. Someone like Daddy wants to do as well. Montaigne wants to do really well. And I think for some of these artists to come out and say, I had the chance, but I just didn't have the song and I didn't want to go this year, I think that's totally fair. And hopefully we'll see them in a few years where they maybe have the song and hopefully they can win then.
It's just giving them the option, I think, is the best thing that the broadcasters could do. Because then you can say, no, I don't want to do it, or I'll do it.
Yeah. No. Ulrike was given a spot in the final, but she turned it down. I just don't think she wanted to compete again. I think she wanted it outright or nothing, to be honest, because she was offered a spot.
She did.
She has.
She wanted it outright. Yeah. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, she did. But even so, I think that song was so good. I think she was worried it just wasn't. She wasn't going to get anywhere near as close. Yeah. But whether she's found something, because she said it, you never know. And if she does find something, or something comes her way, or if Moreland and Christian write another song or something like that, that's just as good. I think that'll be different. So it's been lovely to see her in there, I must admit.
I know Tom Lieb said he had other commitments which clashed, so that's why he took himself out of it for France as well. So that again, it was his decision. Ireland, everyone's kind of hinting that Leslie's been selected, but nothing's been said. Same with the UK, we don't know what's going on. We never do.
No, you never do.
Days until the BBC.
Yeah, they appear. At this rate, they're going to tell us on the Strictly final what's going on, because then that's Strictly done, and that's how they work.
Once Strictly's out of the way, I think we'll get something.
And I know Switzerland this week have announced they've got Gijon's song. He has picked the song he is taking, and going on the whole expectations thing. I don't know how it's going to live up to Répondez Moi, because that was such a stunning song. It's going to be such a high bar for him to hit. And
Yes.
I hope I still love the song like I loved his entry, but it's going to be very difficult, because that was probably the shock of the season last year, that Switzerland came out with such a strong song.
Yeah, there's gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the same with Daddy Fail. I mean, he has got such a. I suppose that he's got weight on his shoulders, because he once says, a lot of people claimed him the winner, and it's like, yeah, you got to have as good song as Think About Things. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be interesting. There's probably half a dozen artists that have been chosen that could have won last year, and their songs are so strong. And they're always going to be compared. No matter what happens, they will be compared.
It's like ESC Twitter. There's like 12 winners that everyone wants to win.
This is it.
It's
It's going to be really hard.
It's impossible not to compare and contrast. That's just what we do as people. And I know we say we should judge it separately, but it is difficult. I know Blaz has got 4 songs up for contention. Eden has, on the day recording, has released her 9 entries, but funny thing is, I've actually listened to them. Half of them don't have her own voice on, so they're literally just their demos, which songwriters have submitted without her voice on.
I think we always knew that was going to be the thing, though. I think that was very clear from the start that we were going to get demos first, and then the ones moving forward in the selection she would actually record vocals for.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see, and and also finally, the Roop have accepted a spot into the Lithuanian selection, and I do believe they were also offered a direct spot to the final. But again, how are they going to top On Fire? There's only so many songs of a dance craze you can do.
Are they going to do On Earth or On Water? Or On Air? What element are they going to choose this time?
Well, if they've got a load of air, they can give it to Didrik and Emil, because they were running out last year.
That's true.
Oh god, the bad puns are spreading.
Yeah.
Wait, someone stop him.
Yeah.
That was very funny.
I think it's the lack of hair on Elliot's head that makes him a bit.
I mean, yes, I did just get a haircut today, but leave me alone. Anyway.
Exactly.
And on that note, the wheels of Krabos, they're on fire, and we've lost the plot, so I think it's time to wrap it up there. As always, a big thank you for everyone that has, listened, watched, and, we love it. We are getting ready for the 2021 season. It's going to be manic, but don't worry, we are going to power through, starting with, as you would have seen by now, our Albania semi-song reviews, and what we think of the 28 artists of Melodi Festivalen. We've then got Estonia coming up as well. It's going to be busy between now and May, but we love it. We absolutely love it. But if anyone wants to send us caffeine, we won't say no. And that's all left to say goodbye to my lovely panelist. A big thank you and good night to Joe. Thank you as always. Lovely to see you.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Big thank you to my co-host Nicklas as well.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna go back to my little Christmas bunker with my chugla and my mulled wine now.
Yeah, you go back to singing Gemagim and we'll leave you to it. And chasing sunsets. We'll just let you live in your little bubble there. And a goodbye to Gustaf from Sweden. I hope you're doing okay with the cold out there. That's all I can say.
Thank you and goodbye.
And I'm going to ignore what's happening on
Love it. Should have done the show like that.
Yeah, you're right. I should have.
little treat for people at the end.
And finally, thank you to Alice. I hope you enjoyed your first little run out in this crazy little bubble we call ESC Fan TV. Have you had a lovely time?
I have had a very lovely time. Everyone's been great, and it's nice to discuss Eurovision and with a group of people that also love Eurovision. So it's a rare thing for me.
We are the place to do it. We could do this probably for 3 hours if they would let us, but no. And with that, it's goodbye from me. We'll be back very soon with more content right up between now and May, like I said. So stick with us. It's going to be a fun ride. But until then, goodbye for now.
Bye.
Bye.